Good morning. I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. And here we are again. There have been so many more ascension symptoms happening over the past couple of days. It's been a little bit difficult to keep track of, to be honest. This will not be a complete list, but I'll attempt to do it. That time slippage thing is something I should bring up because that just came up for me again. Time slippage being that we're existing in many more than one dimensional frequency space, and so when we pull ourselves back and forth from one place to another, where time is linear and then time is correct, it's a little bit disorienting and hard to keep track of things, and a lot of us are still, there's existence within the 3D space. You still got to get the kids to the soccer game, and you still got those kinds of things happening. And so there are things that I have to utilize in order to make that happen, and not having any idea what day it is most of the time, it's very bizarre. So there, and then time just flying by, it's fascinating. So there's a lot of that kind of experience happening right now. And we have the head related stuff. We have the ear ringing, the sinus popping, and like the flicking kind of fluttering sound in the ear canal area, a lot of jaw kind of stuff. This is all like really strange, and it's a fleeting experience where it happens only for a short amount of time and then you're good. The ear ringing also happens to this, like where you'll have underwater hearing on one side and ear ringing the other side, and then it kind of switches. Headaches, different kind of very bizarre headaches. I'm finding them to be extremely intense when they come in, but they're very quick. I mean, it could even almost be the level of pain you would associate with a migraine. However, it's just fleeting, and usually it comes in, for right now for me anyway, right here, goes through and goes out the back. But that's not always the case. There's also like the third eye one. That one's really common right now. A lot of people, myself included, we're getting this weird blemish that shows up while we're talking. We realize that when we're talking that about 40 to 50% of that time we are really channeling now. It's really interesting, because before it just seemed like a stop and go process. Like, okay, this is when I'm going to start to experience some channeling. And now it's more of this give and take, perfect flow kind of stuff. So like half of what I'm saying is me, and the other half is these loving energies that I'm interacting with on a regular basis right now. It's a very cool sensation, like floating in this nice, beautiful, warm, calm ocean. I can't think of a better example than that. It's just the hug of energy. If you know it, you know what I'm talking about. Also, throat and mouth related stuff. There's this thing a lot of us have experienced for quite some time, and I'm not talking about just in this lifetime, but in many incarnations is typical anyhow, where a lot of us have been restrained from our truth, from speaking our truth, from, a lot of us have been persecuted. There's the witch trials really did happen, and so there's a lot of people who are still healing through that experience, and that's what we're doing right now. And so some people have had, like, which I had this experience happen, where my teeth started to separate. Like, my teeth have always grown really close together, and it was great. And then all of a sudden, like, I have these gaps in my teeth, and it actually caused some damage to the teeth behind it. The thing is, look, we've been in hibernation physically. Our physical vessel has been in hibernation. 90 to 95% of our DNA, the scientists have been telling us, is junk. It's called junk DNA, and it's just a bunch of extra stuff that they threw in there because they didn't know what to do with it, right? We're a platypus. No, we're not. Turns out, surprise, surprise, all of this DNA is actually dormant DNA. This is DNA that got turned off and kind of just put in there for when we're ready for it. And guess what? Now we are. We are having this activation experience. And so all this DNA is turning on, all of a sudden this magic thing is like changing the earth. And now all of these technologies are activating, and that's what's happening in our body. And so we're having symptoms of that. We're having growing pains. Growing pains are uncomfortable, But when we know that it's helping us move towards something, then it makes it easier to do, which is why I do these videos, so you know that you're not alone. There has been a lot of other symptoms related to having twitches and stuff on the face and those types of things, noticing this weird tapping or even like tickling sensation on the top of your head, as if someone is tapping you on the head. Perhaps that is happening. Visual stuff, being able to perceive things that is just crazy and awesome at the same time. A lot of people are seeing first it looks like a silhouette of light, like it's like you see somebody standing there that maybe have a very faint white light glowing off of them, but the person's been removed. A lot of people are seeing that now. And that is, you're beginning to see things that have always been here. You know, it's okay. If there is any kind of concern about what kind of energy is in front of you, send love at it. It's this amazing, amazing technology. Love. Send love to that technology of love. It will send love back if it is of love. And it's a lot more than what you would send. If it is not of love, it won't want to be in that space. It cannot exist in the love space and need to leave immediately. So it will repel them. And so just send love to it. And then you'll know the answer. A lot of us can tell too, like, you know the energy, what it feels like when you walk into a room, if it's a comfortable space to be or not. And same with all the people in your life. And so just allow yourself to trust yourself in that. Trusting self is very important. We have all these tools available to us. It's just those gut instincts, those things, those thoughts, those moments are often corrected by what we're told through our conditioning and during our time on this planet. Just because previous peers had told us so does not mean that's true. You know inside. Other kind of symptoms that we're having a lot of, hot cold flashes, you know, like the vibrational experiences. We're having vibrating body parts and stuff like that as we're transmuting and sending these densities out of our sphere. And as we do that, there's more room for this cool stuff to happen, this light to come in and shine down. A lot of us are going through another version of a dark night of the soul. That name, it was taken from an archaic mindset. It's truly a light being shown on the soul. And in that experience, all of a sudden there's a floodlight in a dark lit house that we have lived in for quite some time and not realized. There's cobwebs piled up in corners and things like that. And so the light shines down on us on this space, and it helps to bring up the things that need to be seen and just, you know, acknowledged for what they are so they can be released. We don't have to say, oh, that means that I'm this or that, or applying a new label or identity. We're trying to remove those things. It's okay. Self-forgiveness is seriously the most amazing key to all of this. Self-forgiveness. And in turn, that allows you to have this heightened experience of self-love, a kind of self-love that honestly, until this self-forgiveness is fully established and experienced, one cannot have that kind of self-love until that happens. With that self-love, all of a sudden, all of these things, they change, they allow. So when those things come up, when these moments of the past that need to be looked at come up, we don't have to look at it like a problem to solve. Instead, it's weird. It changes into, oh, yeah, I'm sorry that I ignored you and pretended that you didn't exist. You know, you do exist. And in fact, you really had an important part in my life in this experience. And you're able to see why they were important. You're not just giving them lip service. It's, oh, that's why. And then the love that I have, that you will have for that thing that kept you hidden in the shadows and the secret and embarrassment and all that kind of stuff. It melts away like a small snowflake in the rising sun. It's just so beautiful. And in that experience, then those things can move on and they're able to be released. These things that are like our healing, I have to do this healing for myself, is densities that affects everything else in this everything. And so when we heal these things, you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for everybody. And the effect is felt. That is why this energy is so much lighter now. Have you noticed? You know, you're doing it. And that's why it feels so much more intense right now, because the energy is, the frequency is just pop, 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 pop. It's so cool. It's amazing. And we are here. You made it. I'm so happy that you're here. We're still having a lot of really crazy things with nighttime and sleep. We're still having really weird appetite, loss of appetite, strange eating habits that never had before, eating new things, choosing not to eat, not because we're fasting, just because it doesn't feel like a good idea right now, as well as heightened sense of smell, heightened sense of hearing, and all this cool stuff is happening. We're still getting dizzy, we're still getting weird vertigo stuff, but the up and down earthquake one, that feels exciting. And it always happens when I'm engaged in a mundane activity, like something that, you know, you're just not paying attention. A release is happening for everybody, and it's coming through in different ways. Some people, the release that's being called to them is to cry. Some, and by the way, if you can't cry, try laughing. You know, that's another really awesome tool. But other kinds of release, you know, like purging kind of stuff. Noticing weird acne as an adult. Also, a lot of bathroom trips, and not just the liquid kind, you know, but just purging and release. A lot of this is happening for everybody, and it depends on where you're from, your background, your diet, all kinds of things, you know, but some kind of release is occurring for everybody. And as it's happening, it looks like it's a dip, but it's like boop, boop, and it's up, like you're getting momentum or something like that. So please do not be discouraged, okay? You've got this. We're in this together. You know, and if you feel alone, if you feel isolated and separate and you want to connect, please come to our Zoom meetings. They're free, you know, and there's no judgment. There's no pushing. You don't have to turn on your camera or your audio. We're excited when you do. We really are, because we know how hard it is. In this space, it's different. They're never recorded. They're never aired anywhere. So it's a private interaction, you know, and it's just connecting to other people on this journey that are going through the same things, or at least similar things. We meet every Sunday and every Tuesday and every Friday, with some exceptions, but pretty much you can expect all 3 of those days. For time zones and stuff like that, I always put up a link for them in my community section here on my YouTube channel. So please look forward to those, and I hope to see you. There end up being at least a dozen of us on there at a time, and it's just kind of a fun, beautiful, loving gathering. It's recharging in so many ways. So I hope to see you. Remember on this journey, even if you don't join us, that you're not alone. You know, we're in this together. We came here together. That's why we look so familiar to each other. Our energy feels familiar, because we know one another. And we came here together. And together, whether or not we are having any kind of real interaction with one another, but we are connected. And so we're always interacting. And we're doing this together right now. Okay? And don't give up. You're doing beautifully. I'm so glad that you're here. You are important. I love you so much. Thank you for your service. I hope that you're having a lovely journey, and I'll see you soon. Aho blessings.